Welcome to this week's St. Clair County Board of Commissioners meeting. The types of business that occur at these meetings include public hearings, official voting on actions by the Board of Commissioners, presentations by departments of the county, and recognition of service that makes our county great. As your elected representatives, the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners is committed to improving the lives of all our residents while preparing county government to meet the demands of the future. In order to do that, we need to share our thoughts and plans with you. More importantly, we need you to share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions with us. We encourage you to come and experience the process by attending any of these meetings. They occur every first and third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. at the St. Clair County Administration Building at 200 Grand River Avenue in Port Huron.
Human Services Committee meeting to order. I'd like a roll call, please.
Commissioner Samasco?
Here.
Commissioner Tomian?
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Here.
Commissioner Rushing?
Here.
Commissioner Graytop?
Here.
Commissioner Bohm?
Here.
Commissioner Riley?
Here. We stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any additions or corrections or changes to the agenda?
I'd like to add item number A, the library internet service provider contract, final action.
Second.
7B.
7B.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Any other additions?
Make a motion to accept the agenda as
Board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do we have any citizens tonight that want to speak? Any citizens? Okay. Updates. Conceptual initiatives. I think I might need that yet.
We'll hour down later.
Nothing today.
Nothing? Okay. Old business. Any new business?
We've got a couple.
Reappointments to the Community Mental Health Board.
Well, we have one reappointment, then we have two people have an interest. So we'll do the reappointments first. Is that what you want to do? Move them on? What's your thought?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, before we jump into that, if I'm counting this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Carl can help me here, but it looks like there's about 5 people on this board from District 2, is that correct?
Yes, it is. I had nothing to do with that.
Okay, it was just an observation. I just wondered why there were so many people from District 2 on the Community Mental Health Board.
I guess, you know,
We have a group of outstanding citizens that live there.
that we do. I'm just curious, do we have any information on Vicki Locke or Julie?
There is a letter in there on Vicki Locke. I personally know Vicki, and she is actually does the fundraiser for River District Hospital every year. Extremely good organizer, extremely good at fundraising. Helped out tremendously with the home, the visiting nurse hospice home there. And I just think somebody with her skill set could really be an asset to that board with all the different fundraising. And
Is she from your district?
St. Clair, yeah, East China.
Well,
Is that a motion on your part?
Well, there's 2 people. I mean, I think we'd probably make a motion to reappoint everybody, and then, I would make a motion for Vicki. I don't know if there's people that want to Make a motion for Julie. It's just to pass it on the full board, and then we can vote on it at the full board.
Well, this would just get passed on to the full
Full
board.
board, yeah. So why don't we make a motion for the reappointments, and then to put these two people on for a full board and then we can vote on it.
Second.
Okay, did you make the motion, Jeff?
I'll make a motion.
Move it on.
I'll make a motion that we send this on, that the
Okay.
reappointments go on to the full board. If you want to make a second motion on the other two, that's fine, but I'll make a motion to do the reappointments first.
Second?
Okay,
I thought Jeff had made the motion, so I seconded what I thought was the motion. But I'll second Bill's motion, that's fine.
All right.
that's why I asked, because I missed that too, whether you were,
We need to answer Jeff's motion first.
yes.
What was Jeff's motion?
To send this up with the appointments, then we'll take a vote on the other two at the full board. So we already,
That covers everybody.
That's fine, I didn't hear your motion. so
Okay.
My hearing needs to come.
I can support that if it hasn't been supported.
It has.
It has.
I did.
Okay, any discussion on Jeff's motion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now let's do,
I'll withdraw that motion.
withdraw yours?
Same
Okay.
motion.
All right.
Now we need, we do need to look at the other two names, or we just let that go on to the full board then?
Full board.
Okay.
Full board.
I'm good then.
Okay, you might as well, at this point, we got the library above that we added in. That was a good time to do that. Library internet service provider contract, final action.
Make the motion.
I'll support it.
Move and support, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Does this need a roll call? This is final action?
Yes, it
Yes.
does.
The roll call?
Commissioner Samasco?
Thanks.
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes. Okay, any other human service matters to be brought? Okay, information only? If not, I'll take a motion to receive and file packets.
So moved?
Support.
Moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to call to order the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Judiciary and Public Safety Committee meeting. If the clerk would take the roll, please.
Commissioner Tamian?
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Here.
Commissioner Bowe?
Here.
Commissioner Riley?
Here.
Commissioner Rushing?
Here.
Commissioner Samasco?
Here.
Commissioner Greatop?
Here. Under additions and deletions, we have one, if the animal control evaluation is listed as 2A, if we can move that down to 7B, and somebody could so move.
I would move that we change the agenda to include animal control evaluation 7B.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Citizens to be heard. Anybody wishing to address the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee meeting? Seeing none, I see no updates unless somebody has something for us. Anybody? Bill, any conceptual initiatives?
Yes, I just want to give you a heads up on something that will be coming to you at the full board. As many of you know, one of the magistrates in the 72nd District Court will be leaving us. The court has appointed Susan Borovich as the replacement. Susan will be retiring from the county soon from her position with the friend of the court. The Board of Commissioners do have to make a formal appointment of Ms. Borovich as the magistrate for the 72nd District Court. That will be on your agenda for the full board meeting in 2 weeks.
Very good.
And who is retiring as a magistrate?
That would be Ms. Nicole Winston.
That'll be for
go ahead.
final action in 2 weeks?
Yes.
Do you need a motion to have that go forward to the full board?
No.
David. And just a step further on that, Renee Topolowski has been tapped as the new Friend of Court Director. She was the assistant, and she has stepped up. So that appointment was made by Judge Kelly. So we're good to go there. Very good, thank you. I see no old business. Under new business, item 7A, prosecuting attorney, the Byrne JAG grant application. You have that before you, and there is a match on that.
26,000?
26,000 is the approximate figure. The exact figure, if you would like to know it, is $23,306. And that grant match is in the prosecutor's budget, so we are all set with that.
Excellent.
I'll move that that goes to the full board.
Second?
I have a motion and support. Any other questions on the grant?
What was that total again, please?
23,306 is the match.
306.
I don't see the, it's in there, it's in your budget somewhere for the total
Yeah,
amount.
that's okay.
But that was their match. That included training and everything they needed to implement this software with other agencies involved, so. Any other questions or discussions on the grant? Seeing none, all in favor of moving it on to the full board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, moves on to the full board. Item 7B is from the Animal Control. You have in front of you a letter from the St. Clair County Sheriff's Animal Control Division. In there, if you remember going back a few years, we had some controversy and some upheaval and some things over there that needed to be fixed and adjusted. They kind of cleaned house over there a little bit. The sheriff took it over, put it back in shape, and if you look through there and have the opportunity to read through some of the things that were in place and that have been changed, the money that has been made over there now, we've moved from the red into the black. The projected figures are doing very well. The income is doing very well. Everything seems to be running at a pretty good pace. Looks like we're saving labor in the amount of about $70,000 based on the figures that we have in this particular document in front of us. At this particular point, I think the idea of this whole thing in the letter here is that the sheriff has done what we asked him to do. He put it back into a business, an operation that is working efficiently, making money for us, and providing a service to the community. And I think at this time, we probably are looking for what we're going to do with it right now. It doesn't really belong in the sheriff's purview, but he has done a good job on this. So I'm open to any ideas or suggestions, maybe even looking at administration. You know, Bill, what do you think we do with a situation like this now? We used to have a director out there, and the sheriff has taken that over. Do we look to bring in a director now that the sheriff has cleaned it up and take it over? What kind of suggestions can we get from you, maybe?
Well, the two immediate solutions that come to mind is bring on a director like we had in the past, hire someone to take on that responsibility, or work with the sheriff's department and see if they'd be interested in any way in retaining ownership, if you may, of this operation and continuing to run it much as he has over the last couple of years.
A ballpark figure, Bill, if we were to bring a director, what that would cost us there?
My guess is probably around $85,000, $90,000 by the time you look at salary and you look at all of their benefits.
Why don't we have, you can go to HR and they can run those numbers and get some ideas back for us for the next meeting, I guess.
Would you be willing to take a look at that? Would administration be willing to take a look at that and bring us a recommendation in a couple of weeks as to what we can do with it, what our options might be?
Sure.
With that, Howard?
And along with that, I think you or Steve was the first one to suggest that the sheriff step in and
First I've heard of it.
no, back 2 years ago.
Well, there were serious problems 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
and you were the one, I think.
Yes, I was much in favor of having the sheriff take that over. as you recall, and it's in his memo, there was an internal investigation, there were internal control issues, there was money essentially unaccounted for, a lot of problems and all that evidently has been straightened out nicely. So, yes.
I guess what I would like to know, are there other sheriff departments that do animal control? And is the sheriff willing to continue? I would be willing to compensate him additionally to continue providing that management oversight. But is that something he's even interested in doing?
I think we can ask administration to take a look at all of those. That's not a bad idea, Howard. Any other thoughts or ideas? Don't even go there.
I was going to say, I thought he ran for dog catcher.
No, Jeff was never a dog catcher. All right, why don't we ask administration to bring us some recommendations at the full board meeting next, in 2 weeks? And then we can act on something at that time. Is that agreeable with everybody?
You're assuming to take final action in 2 weeks, you're saying?
Yeah, I think we could probably do that.
Oh, we definitely need to find out from the sheriff how he feels about it.
Can you get in 2 weeks? Can you get this? Yeah, let's put it on the agenda and see if.
What's that, Jeff?
Put it on the agenda and see what happens, you know, see if the information he can get back. And
all right.
But looking at these numbers, the sheriff did a heck of a job.
Yep.
Where the animal control, since the sheriff's taken over, it's just been AAA pluses, all the ratings, and from what we've gotten from the state inspections, everything has been positive.
All right. We don't need any motion to send this on, do we? Or all right, if the administration would then bring us a recommendation next week, we'll try to see which way we can go from there. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I'm sorry, 2 weeks. Okay. Anything else on that? Very good. Thank you. Any other judiciary public safety matters? Tom, do you want to mention your golf outing? Commissioner Riley?
Yes, I can. Yeah, we've got it set up. Emergency management breakfast is set up for, which is for those that don't know about that. That's one that people come in and handle. I'm going to say we get 450, 500 people there. It's always a big turnout. And speakers from all over. I happen to know where the speaker's coming from this year, and I won't tell you right this second.
You do know, but you won't say?
Yes, I will. I will not say. Mr. Freeland's in charge of that, but him and I chatted on it today. But afterwards, we've started a golf outing about 7 years ago, and it's worked out very well every year. The nice thing about it is that I get a tremendous deal from the golf course at 4 Lakes, and what they do for me is give me a very reduced cost, and I put the cost up a few bucks, and all that money goes to an agency that we feel in the county. My committee I put together, we vote on where we're going with it. Last year we gave it Salvation Army, and through the golf and through the other activities that we bring money in on that program, we ended up giving Salvation Army about $4,300, which is wonderful. This year we got a couple of different ways we're going, and I passed out some. We've got golfers. There's flyers out on that. We've got the invitations going out effective today. There's a bunch out, but it's May the 3rd is the breakfast, and then after that, at 11 o'clock will be the golfers. Last year I had over 110 golfers. It was fantastic turnout. But the nice thing about it is it's everybody together. It lets and it's all police, fire, EMS, communities, involvement people. And the nice thing about it is everybody is together, talks about it, and we get to promote some agency that is having a tough time. And we're doing a shelter for the homeless this year. We're also doing the seat belts to assist with the police agencies for people to buy seat belts. So it's a fundraiser to help people is what it is, and it really works out well. Jeff Freeland's, I want to say this, it's the only one in the state of Michigan like this. I'm very proud to say I'm part of it, and Jeff has done a phenomenal job for years with this program.
Tom, if the viewing audience out there wants to get involved in this, is there a phone number or somebody they can contact?
You bet. They can call me at 810-650-0338 if they want to get into the golfing aspect of it. The breakfast is on an invitation basis because it's full of legislative, police, fire, EMS, ambulance people, and it's emergency management, basically what it is. But the golfing aspect, I've got people that call me every year. They have nothing to do with anything in the county other than they live in the county and they like to participate in the golfing, and it's a fundraiser. And the golf is $40, and it's reasonable. And there's even afterwards, at the very end, I get a sponsor to furnish pizza at the end of it for them too. So it's a great opportunity for people to come out, play a golf for a day, help an agency, and it goes to a good cause.
Good, appreciate that very much.
In regards to that, we got the federal grant for emergency management to purchase the facility out at the airport. I was just wondering if there was some kind of an update on how we're coming along with that.
Turn that over to Commissioner Bohm.
Bill, he would be.
Bill?
Sure. We did close on the purchase of that building last week. Crews are in there working on the second floor right now. It's my understanding, I heard this morning, that the past owner has moved out of the first floor, so crews will be in there. Ron is shaking his head. Are they in there right now, working on the first floor as well? Everybody get that? First floor has been demoed. They've started construction already down there as well. So we're actually ahead of schedule.
Good, good. Was there some discussion about moving the facility, the old facility out by Thomas Edison out
Yes.
there too as an addition?
Yes, we are working with emergency management. Jeff has taken this project on as well. The Convention and Visitors Bureau building, which was just scheduled to be deconstructed or demolished, it's in very, very good shape. He has raised the money to move that facility out to the airport, and it will become an asset that will be used to not only support airport operations. Groups like the Civil Air Patrol will now have a room, place where they can do their training and hold their meetings. We'll offer a meeting room or a conference room for businesses that may fly into the county, and we do get a lot of businesses that fly in, individuals that want to meet locally, and that provides them with an opportunity to hold a quick business meeting. Also, we're looking at a training center that would be used by first responders. So all of that would occur in that building. That's being relocated out there as well.
That's a very nice facility, and to just destroy it, it does make sense if the county can find other uses for it. Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Any other updates or public safety matters? No information only. I'll take a motion to receive and file then. Support. I have a motion and support to receive and file. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn
Support?
and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Judiciary and Public Safety meeting is adjourned.
I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Environmental Public Works Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Commissioner Bohm?
Here.
Commissioner Riley?
Here.
Commissioner Rushing?
Here.
Commissioner Greatop?
Here.
Commissioner Samasco?
Here.
Commissioner Tamian?
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Here. Do we have any additions, deletions, changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Supported by Commissioner Tomlin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any citizens to be heard regarding environmental public works matters? Seeing none, any updates from commissioners? Seeing none, any conceptual initiatives from administration?
Not at this time.
None at this time. And no old business. We'll move to new business, the 2013 Survey and Remonumentation Grant Agreement. First item in your packet. Pretty straightforward. We do this about every year. I would
I'll move to
entertain.
send it to the full board.
Support?
Okay. And the amount of that grant is for $77,633. And any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll send this on to the full board. I saw Matt here. I assume he has some information he would like to share to us on Cell 7B construction bid recommendations.
Good evening, Commissioners. I've prepared a memorandum and a bid tabulation for your consideration tonight. We're scheduled and need to build another disposal area to expand the landfill to continue accepting refuse at current rates. We did a bid letting, did a bid process. We received 4 qualified bids summarized in your memorandum. Low bidder was Telto Contracting of Casco. And while they have not done landfill construction in the past, they have done similar, smaller lagoon-type constructions. And I sat down with them along with our landfill engineers. We interviewed them, went over the project requirements, got a good feel for their background and capabilities, and came out of that meeting with a real good feeling. Everyone's got to do something for the first time. So I'm recommending that you approve or recommend approval to the full board for Telto Contracting to be awarded the contract to do this construction in the amount of $618,200.
And that's almost what, 70,000 less than the next.
Quite a bit less. And I asked them about that, and they said they had missed out on 5 or 6 previously bids by a little bit, and they were bound and determined not to miss out on ours. So
I'd make that motion, and just a cheap plug for them too. They did all that land clearing for us down in St. Clair and did a great job on time. They were very
I would support that motion.
Okay, we have a motion made and supported. David?
I got some concerns. Pulaski's been out there, and for somebody who hasn't done something, this is a major asset to the county. If something doesn't work out, that doesn't work in with the landfill, I know you're confident with them, but Telto hasn't done this before. It'd be real quick to eat up $70,000. And I'm looking at the pricing, and I'm showing that the mobilization, demobilization, 2 of the largest ones are the first 2. There's a difference of $24,000 in the first one in general conditions. They're $47,000. So right there, just in the first 2 conditions.
there's your $70,000.
So, but you go through the rest of it, it's very comparable. Did Pulaski build the cells prior to? Who built the cells prior?
Pulaski has not built a cell since, for at least 12, 15 years.
Okay, who's been building the cells?
Well, we've had a number of different contractors. Our last cell construction was a company called Melco out of Ohio. Prior to that, it was, can't remember their name. Built
How many
Cell
cells have
3
been built?
since?
You got 8, but, right? Or you're going to start 8, but I'm just saying.
Probably engineered composite line cells, I think 5.
Okay, because I'm more comfortable now knowing that Pulaski hasn't built them in the past and everything's worked fine.
They built 1 or 2, but it's been a while.
But it's been quite a while. I just want to make everything smooth.
Commissioner Graytop.
Matt, I'm looking at the individual prices on some of these things, and I'm amazed with the 4 different contractors you're showing on this spreadsheet. On that first one, mobilization, the first contractor comes in at $6,000, the next one at $14,000, the next one at $57,000. There's a difference of $51,000 on that one item in these things. I'm looking at another one where clearing and grubbing $13,000, $9,000, One guy bids $1 for clearing and grubbing. I guess it doesn't matter as long as the bottom line, we get the job done and it's done for the $618,000.
When I prepare these projects for bidding,
Yeah.
I honestly make sure that I'm covering conservatively in these, with the bid quantities. Having said that, and so I haven't had a construction project, a cell construction project that's come near budget. They've always been under budget. Having said that, contractors all have a different thought on where they put their money and what bid items for different reasons. And they've all got their reasons, and I agree. You see, we always see wide spreads in amounts bid on different items on these type of projects. I can't, other than picking their brains and asking them, I really can't.
Just an observation,
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was really strange.
It's not uncommon, I'll say that.
Commissioner Thomas?
Well, I think it's great, though, that you got these quantities in these different categories, because if you have under or over expenditure, there's not going to be any question about what the unit prices are, because you've got
Absolutely.
unit prices in your contract. Is this contractor going to be bonded? We have a
Yes.
performance bond, so that
Yeah, we require that.
if they can't perform, that we can hire somebody else to come.
That
in.
is correct.
What was the engineer's estimate for the construction of this
It
cell?
was around 640, I believe.
And what do we have budgeted?
Their bid came in at 618,200.
But what did we have in the budget for this? What was your?
Oh, I think I had provided 800,000, not
this
knowing
is
where things were going to come in.
This will be a considerable savings in terms of the budget.
Over what I was projecting, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to send this to the full board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Oh, you better stay up there, Matt. There's another item here. The landfill account balance write-off.
Bill, would you?
Did I move that around? Oh, here it is. I have it. Thank you.
Sure, let me jump in here. Every year, in preparation for the audit, we go through, look at all of the outstanding accounts, and we've been working very closely with Matt and his staff on collections. Over the years, they've done a great job of picking up on collections. One of the problems we've run into, I'd say probably the last 2 years, is many of these businesses that owe us money no longer exist. They're gone. Many of them are smaller business. Some of them are bigger. But the vast majority of these you will see are smaller businesses that we have to write off. In this particular case, we are looking at a charge from the city of Port Huron related to all of the work that was done, I would say over the last probably 3 years in demolition projects around the county campus. So we are asking the board to write off this particular charge for the city of Port Huron, $15,111. This is, again, this is a project related to the demolition of the jail, the YMCA, a number of other projects downtown.
At the time, too, when we did this, we collectively bid with the YMCA along with all of our buildings. We got a smoking price on it by putting all that in there with the assumption that we were going to work together on it by putting all that. They were, actually, the old YMCA was more than half the cost of the total deal, and we had told them we would waive the tipping fees if they came along with us and saved us. I mean, our initial estimates were over like the $1 million kind of range plus and 520, 550, you know, but so.
Commissioner Rushing?
But we don't have a motion, but if we're discussing it, I got to have a
You want to go ahead and
concern.
make a motion?
What?
You want to go ahead to make the motion?
To send it to full board, I'll make that.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion that's been supported. Now we can continue discussion. Commissioner Rushing?
It states at the end, and I have to assume that this is a mistype, since we have waived the fees for the city of Port Huron, we have not waived these as of yet.
No, we have not.
Okay, but the statement, I have concern waiving 15,000 feet. What are the permits going to cost the county for the convention center?
They're not.
They're
Okay.
waived.
But what would they have cost?
$54,000.
Permits?
Yes.
$54,000 for
Inspection
permits?
fees.
Okay, because they're getting a real, in my position on this, they're getting a $200,000 plus annually for 30 years. We're getting a $300,000 negative for 30 years. I'm a little concerned turning over $15,000.
But at the time when we did the project, it was understood that there would be no cost, hence I don't know how this bill came, you know.
Well,
this is
I can-
something that was probably left
Okay.
hanging
I can
over.
provide a little background on it if you'd like. The original project, as I understand, was set up for demolition. During the demolition, some asbestos-containing material was discovered in the YMCA. Unfortunately, it was discovered after it had already been partially destroyed and mixed with other rubble and demolition material. So the city had a problem. How do you pick out and remove the asbestos after the fact? So we worked with them and said, bring it all in. We'll take it in as asbestos, handle it as asbestos. From our standpoint, it was out of scope of the original product. That's why it was remained on the books. But now an agreement has been made, and it sounds like it's a nice trade-off. But that's why it was remaining on the books, because it was initially out of scope for the original intent of the project.
Because I was just thinking for the big plus, they should be waiving the fees for us and permit fees for us anyways.
Yeah.
For the big plus they're getting now. The city of Port Huron is really going to benefit from this convention.
Okay, Commissioner Samasco.
Matt, it indicates in your, in the memo from Dina Alderdice that it looks like this $15,000+ was actual cost paid by the landfill to prepare an area for the fill?
It was the cost that we would normally charge for that work.
Okay, so it says here, cost incurred by the landfill for digging the space. That's not true. It wasn't for digging the space.
It was. We have to specially handle asbestos. So we
So-
dig a pit, we handle it in certain ways, we hold up other traffic. There's precautions we
We
take.
actually had a tremendous bit of luck in the bidding of the county jail and the YMCA. We came in way under budget. And the only thing that bothered me a little bit about it, this was an actual cost paid by out of the landfill budget, or is it just waiving a fee to bury it? I guess, which is it, or is it some of both?
Again, this was out of scope to the original intent of the project. This is what we would charge for handling this
So
material.
if anyone
under a
brought that
normal-
in, if you had to handle asbestos, you have to go dig a location in your asbestos area or someplace and go bury it
Exactly.
according to some specs.
Special handling.
I see, okay. So that was not out of pocket, so to speak. There was some cost associated with digging, but it's what your normal process was for handling that type of waste.
Correct.
You know, I believe that to be correct, Steve.
Okay, any other questions? I guess at this time, all in favor of sending it on to the full board?
Aye.
Say aye. Opposed, nay? Motion carried. Thank you. The North Channel Property, Michigan Natural Resource Trust Fund Acquisition Grant Application. Is this for the Phragmites?
It'll look like Phragmites.
This was the picture Mr. Greatop was on the front page.
We have a picture.
Here tonight to ask for move to full board action in 2 weeks, a grant application to the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund. It is the state grant program that we've used for all of our major park purchases in since I've been here. We are proposing to purchase a 9.4 acre parcel on the north channel of St. Clair River. On your I got a projection up here of the map that you have in front of you. Top is M29 Point Trumbull, bottom is North Channel. Adjacent property to the west is the North Channel boating access site, and to the east is the Algonac Boat Harbor. The township we had proposed to help the township purchase the property back many years ago. For whatever reason, it didn't happen. And so with the township's interest in resurrecting the property, the Parks and Recreation Commission had always looked at balancing, and certainly Dennis Bazinski, who was the chair of the Park Commission for several years, advocated for looking to do a project in the South County. And with Mr. Graytop's assistance and Township Supervisor Artie Bryson, we visited the site, the acquisition committee, and everybody was in favor of moving forward. The proposed grant project budget is $400,000. It requires a 25% minimum local match, and I'm proposing that for this application we pledge $100,000 of County Parks and Recreation millage funds for the $100,000. The process is we have to have an application in by April 1st. We will have the benefit of staff reviewing the application, doing a preliminary score, and then giving us the results of their investigation in our application in August probably. Oftentimes they do that with very short turnaround time, so it may necessitate a final action thing like has happened in the past. But we will be given an opportunity to clarify, add things, subtract things, or even change the local match if we want to give our project a better chance of being funded. I do have to say this in the context of last year. The trust fund had more money available for acquisition projects than they had applications. So DNR staff is actively encouraging communities to, if they have an acquisition grant, to submit it this year. So we will have an excellent chance. Now, if a million cities, villages, and townships all take their advice and throw it in, it may be as competitive as prior years, but we will again have a chance to reconsider that in August. I did receive today in the mail a letter from the mayor of the city of Algonac wholeheartedly endorsing the project, and my understanding from Mr. Bryson is that the township board passed a resolution on Monday formally supporting the project. So without wearing out your ears, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mark regarding this project? Commissioner Samaska.
Mark, on your sketch you did, there's a portion in the lower right hand on the face of it. It says future acquisition. It would seem that you would want to get that now. Why couldn't you accomplish acquisition?
That's a good question. That's a different property owner. That's owned by the owner of the Algonac Boat Harbor, Mr. Beauregard.
That piece is actually in the city limits of Algonac, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So I've seen that one too. Yeah, it's got the.
So there is a chance that there's a couple thing. Another thing we've noticed. This quick sketch was put together by Pam Blau, our landscape architect, because it always helps to have a vision. That issue is one I agree with.
It's essentially not for sale. Is that the issue? It's
well, with the property designated is what's actively for sale. This property is not on the market, though Mr. Bryson has had contact. You know, I
assume that's not very developable property, probably wetland, probably suitable for Park Bill, or what is that?
It's suitable for our purposes, but it's landlocked from any vehicle access. So I think we're the only logical, if we buy the adjacent property, we're probably the only logical owner.
The owner has been contacted by Clay Township Supervisor. There have been some conversations, and there's some agreement in that maybe this would be good over here rather than over here. That's about as far as it's gone.
Right. The other issue that's kind of a sticky wicket is notice with this overlay, not 100% certainty on is there's this property, this house here's driveway kind of meanders onto the parcel that we're trying to buy, and easements are always a problem, Mr. Fletcher knows. So, and then you got this weird little triangle here, and maybe the solution to that before we acquire it is have the current property owner make an agreement, swap this triangle of property and gain control of the driveway property. So there's a couple issues. If you would like, I would be happy to contact Mr. Beauregard and see if he wants to be in. If you do it with the grant, you're going to have to do a DNR certified appraisal, and the cost of that acquisition is going to be a little bit higher.
It just appeared landlocked. I was curious why it wasn't made part of this.
Right.
So you've answered it.
There's a different property owner.
Commissioner Riley?
Yeah, you know, Mark, first of all, I want you to know that I think the work you do with parks is phenomenal. I mean, we have a great parks throughout our county, but, and I don't want to think in Clay Township's thinking anything different, because I'm going to ask the questions here.
Sure.
But we're talking about 100,000 coming out of parks and recs. Is that what you're talking?
Yep.
Okay, that's to purchase the property.
Correct.
Okay. What are we doing for the prices for the development of the park? What are we looking at, and what kind of dollars are we looking at?
Well, at this point, there's no commitment to actually do the development. With the grant, you can acquire the property, and there's no timeline you have to develop it. I think it's going to be a pretty similar project to what happened at Fort Gratiot. And as a matter of fact, more than one township official said, we want a park like Fort Gratiot County Park. So I don't have those numbers handy. But
okay. Well, I guess, you know, the way I'm looking at it is right now, I know it's coming out of parks, but I don't care how they go about that. It's money that belongs to the taxpayers of the county. I mean, somehow it's got in there, and I don't care if we call it budget numbers that come out of whatever, but it's still county money. And I do have a problem, and I understand it's a great opportunity probably to build a park for people down there that haven't got one. I do have a problem when we start spending money of this nature. It's 100,000 coming out, I realize, but the 100,000 is a drop in a bucket to what I look at. You're looking at a very, very nice park to build, and I think it's great for the people down there, but I certainly have a problem with it at this time with everything on our plate that is going on in our county right now with the budgets and everything we're doing and everything underway. I have a problem with spending $100,000 of our budget, and I understand it's probably a good deal because we're getting a grant. I also question, that's a federal grant?
no.
State grant?
State grant.
Well, that's wonderful too, because the state and federal right now, neither one of them can figure out what they're going to do with us as far as money coming in. I mean, I don't care if we go federal or state, it's a mess out there right now.
The Michigan Natural Trust Fund works with the state, how it's funded through the oil and gas. It's a constitutional.
It's a constitutionally protected program. It has to be used for this purpose.
Well, you better protect it or we'll be there, period.
Okay. Commissioner Samasco?
One thing I point out, Tom, is this. Parks and Rec is blessed with the support of the community to raise funds for Parks and Rec purposes. And I had a much greater objection to the Columbus Township structures because they were quite extravagant. This is really more in line with what I think should be sprinkled around the county. And it's like the Columbus Township Park. It's modest, it's available, you know, to lower numbers of people. It's spread out throughout the county. I think it's a great buy to have that federal funding and to buy this for $100 grand and then develop it as you can. But the other piece of it was, like, you're worried about our budget and what we do on our general budget and the problem with the federal government. This is really a standalone thing, and I felt that with Columbus Township Park, that maybe the Parks Board was looking to spend money because they had it and didn't have projects like this to put it in, because if the public gives you money for Parks and Rec and you don't have viable projects, you know, they're going to stop giving it to you because you don't need it. So really, I think if you look at it from that perspective, maybe that'll make you feel more comfortable with things like this.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of where I'm heading, because I don't want to be opening up the door where we're going to spend a lot of money down the road for something coming out of the general budgets. And, you know, they could say it's in the park budget, that's fine.
These structures aren't high maintenance. What they did at Columbus Township Park I liked, and that's what I would have liked to see out in the area, or Fort Gratiot Township Park, I would have seen something more along those lines in Columbus Township, because these look like modest structures, and if I was on the board and governing or overseeing the Parks Board, I'd want to make sure that whatever development happens is modest and somewhat similar to Fort Gratiot as compared to Columbus Township.
Bill?
I want to add in also, Tom, that the Township of Clay is fully supportive of this project, and they will be financially also.
Okay.
They are willing to come up with their DDA money, and they have a rather flush recreation balance in their money down there, that they are willing to tap into those to help purchase this particular piece. They don't have the wherewithal that the county parks would have to build something of this nature and then to operate it, whereas the county does, but they are more than willing to put in money financially to acquire the property.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that.
Just want to point out, this is a concept plan. This is to give the grant scorers an opportunity to see what, there is no timetable for this, and every park development we've done multiple phases and spread the development cost out. There is, in the center of the property, includes a house and a garage here that's proposed for reuse as a restroom, office, maintenance, storage facility. So unlike Fort Gratiot, we're hoping to reuse the resident and garage to lessen the cost of developing the property.
Commissioner Graytop.
If I could stretch it out just a little bit further, where this proposed park fits is almost in an ideal location. It's along M29, easily accessible for anybody in the south end of the county or anybody passing through the county. And it's right next to a DNR launch site that is strictly for launching boats and a parking lot. It would be right next door. And Mark, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you've talked to the DNR in part, and there may be some collaboration right there that we can work with them. If you launched your boat and wanted a picnic next door, there may be that possibility. You're right next to the Harbor Club, and the possibility exists that people that come in from other places and visit the Harbor Club, they have a lot of transient traffic comes in there. You're just a hop, skip, and a jump over to this park if they were to want to go that way. Many of those boats that come into the Harbor Club and visit on the weekends bring their dinghies in there. It's a short ride out and around and over to that particular location. Right straight across the street, and you can see in that map that Mark has up there where M29 highway is, there's a sidewalk right across there, which is part of the trails, the Bridge to Bay trails, and it goes all the way down to the marsh, down in St. John's Marsh, continues north through the city of Algonac, connects up, goes behind the state park, and heads up toward Roberts Road. So there's a break in Cotterville, and then it picks up again in Marine City and connects up and goes all the way up. So it's in an ideal location to be able to bring this all together. Also, there's a canoe and a kayak piece that would be added into this piece here. Right directly, almost directly straight across the river, a little bit of an angle, is the Crispin Drain on Harson's Island. We've been working on that for about a year and a half now to get that cleaned out and widened. Bob Wiley is here. He's been working diligently with his guys, myself, and a bunch of other people. We've got the Phragmites cut and sprayed. It's been surveyed. All we need to do now is dig it out, and then that is going to become part of the Blue Ways project. So in this immediate area, you will have 2 or 3 Blue Ways canoe kayak projects, connection to the Bridge to Bay Trail. This piece here, the DNR launch right next door, the Algonac Harbor Club boat facilities right next door to that. And all of this is within walking distance of a supermarket, a bar, restaurant, McDonald's. I mean, it's all, I think it offers a lot.
Okay, any other comments? Commissioner Rushing.
Just one. As we go forward, I'm in support of this, and I think we should do it. And being that there's no time frame of it, what's the guy's name? Beauregard. Possibly in the future we could acquire that prior to developing the park, potentially. So that's another plus. But I support this. And then, Phil, how big are the fish you catch down there?
You got the picture.
Commissioner. Any other commissioners' questions for Mark? Director Burchue, do you want to make
one other quick point? This is really parallels the Fort Gratiot project, where our intention is to acquire that, but for the purpose of the grant, you need to show the DNR grant scores that it's a standalone property, does not depend on another property to be viable. So we did the exact same thing up at Fort Gratiot, where we showed a park plan that incorporated only the property we're purchasing and didn't include the adjacent 14 acres the water board owned. We acquired both properties separately, and then we redid the master plan to work both as one plan. But it's kind of a strategy to show the grant scorers this is how it'd be laid out without needing to acquire any other parcels.
Okay, any other commissioners with questions? Okay, well, with none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried unanimously.
No, we do not have a
We
motion.
didn't have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, Commissioner Graytop made the motion and supported by Commissioner Tomlin, and I apologize for that slight oversight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. The County at-large drain assessment for 2013. Drain Commissioner Wiley is here.
Yeah, actually, we had met with Bob, Carey, a couple other commissioners to talk about this bill, and I said, well, why don't you come on in and talk about it with all the above.
Commissioner Wiley.
Good evening. Thanks for having me here tonight. Over the past 4 years, we've been doing a lot of work through the drain office and had quite a few petition projects out there that we've knocked off, but we still have a lot more out there still remaining. And we'd like to continue on with these projects. And we're starting to slow down a little bit, trying to pace it out, but we've got some outstanding drain projects that have been on the books for, well, since the late 1990s. And we'd really like to get them taken care of, get the people their service that they really want to have, which is proper drainage. We passed out some flyers or information to you guys. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at it. I've got my Deputy Drain Commissioner here, Jim Hartson, who pulled all this together, and I'll probably have him answer most of the questions that you have. So, again, we're looking to increase the 2013 budget by $200,000 for the county at large. Through the years, as the years go on, prices or other drain charges will drop off.
But the 200,000, one of the things when we had the meeting, and I think everybody on this board knows drains hadn't been clean forever. I remember when Bob Howard, you, myself, Wally actually went and see him when you gave us that $400,000 sticker shock, and you know it used to be $150,000 before, and we got to learn more about the county at large. And we got done with that meeting, and I think we even put an additional $100,000 in, at the time.
Up to $500,000.
3, 4, whatever. That's when you first got on the board. Whenever a ditch gets cleaned, the county has a portion that it has to pay. Okay, so the county at large portion is something that we are bound to. My only concern, I guess, and we talked about this the other day with Carrie, is it's a general fund appropriation. Not that I don't support the drains, we're really working on trying to get our landfill squared away now with some of the other funding mechanisms. One of the things that I had said is that a possibility that we could put some additional funds into this for a period of time. The county at large, if you look at this, this isn't just a 1 year, 700,000. If we take this to the next step, if you look at the projections, we're going to have to commit for those funds for a period of time. It's not the 200,000 one and done deal. It's going to raise that commitment for a time frame. And me personally, I think we got to get there's been tons of conversations regarding the landfill and what it funds, those types of things. We got to really get, I think, our house in order on that landfill fairly quick, just to be able to say if we want to commit to this or not.
Commissioner Graytop.
If I'm hearing all of this correct, you need 200,000, but you don't need 200,000 for 1 year. You need 200,000 each and every year for a number of years.
You don't need 200,000 for like an extra 200,000, which would bring it to 700,000, and then 200,000 additional in the next year, and then 200,000 additional in the next year after that. it's $200,000 for this year. Next year, we can kind of look at it, and some of the drain projects will drop off, so you won't be paying on those, and then more will drop off.
If you look at the last page on there, though, that last page has all the projections as far as the numbers. You see the 511,000 in 2012. You see the 619 in 2013, 678. Those numbers would be our portion of the county drain at large, correct? So essentially, this isn't a one-year deal. We would be increasing the county at large to commit it for that period of time until.
You're looking for an increase in your budget from 500,000 to 700,000.
County at large for the
not for a year, but
several years, right? And you know, with the previous years, before I came in, the county at large was at $150,000, which you can't get a lot of projects done at that much, or at that price. And the drains haven't gotten better on their own, they've only got worse. And you know, this is part of your infrastructure, and in order to have savings on your roads, you've got to work on your drainage. And it's critical for these drains to be operating so the road commission can dig their drains, take them to my drains that are operating properly. So I'd like to.
Any other questions? Commissioner Riley?
Well, first of all, I'd like to tell you the drains, the work you've done since you've been in there has been phenomenal. I mean, we've got tremendous drains throughout the areas that I'm familiar with. I think it's been great. My concern is right now, as Jeff said, is the dollars for presently until we get our feet on the ground on the different projects. That's my worry, that we're stepping into another area where we're spending a lot of money, and maybe we don't know exactly where we're going into, like the landfill. That the landfill has an opportunity to help us out in a lot of areas, and I don't see it today at this point where I can say that I think that's a great idea. I mean, I do think it's a great idea, but I don't know if this is the time for us to do it. For you, you'd like it today, but my worry is that we say yes and then we end up with something happen that we don't have as much coming in. We also know we got convention center deals. We have a lot of things on our plate right now, and I think we got to be darn awful careful that we don't end up with a problem here. So I'm sorry.
Commissioner Rushing.
Well, I'm not going to say a positive or negative, but I was at that meeting, and I'm hoping that if you get the 700,000, the 200,000, then it's going to kind of have a baseline of 700,000. But if you don't use it, the next year might only be 650, potentially anyways.
Potentially, yes.
What I don't want to see is that you come back and say, now the baseline's 700, well, now I need another 50 above that.
Right.
So we don't want to see that coming up. These are figures that he needs the money to do that drain work. He also has to work with DEQ, and I don't want to have a negative or positive about that, but there's permits and there's expenses that have been increasing for him to get this work done through the state of Michigan. So that's part of these figures too. So he has an additional cost that are being put on him from the state of Michigan that are included. He also works very well with the townships, and I know what townships I have. He has to put this cost. Not only is this a cost to the county, it's a cost to every municipality that he has to work in, and they absorb a cost to this. Not only the residents for the assessments that have the drain in their district, but also the township have a cost on that. And he's worked very well that he's not putting the cost on them in a single year. He could, but he works with them, and that's not in the township's budget, so he's also saying, cover this cost for 2 years on some of the drains, depending on what township in. So he's doing a very good job. I think the work, and nothing against Fred Fuller, but I believe the maintenance has been neglected, and I believe some of the drains in Riley Township haven't seen any work since when they were built in 1935. They are full-grown 50-year-old trees growing in some of these drains. This work needs to be done.
Commissioner Tomlin.
I'm new to county drains. How is the county share of a drain calculated?
By the benefit, basically by the roads, the surface water, the roads that
so you take
shed the water into the drains.
The public impervious areas, so that's our share. It's actually based on a calculation of what county facilities that we have that would benefit from the drain improvement.
Right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Graytop.
I'd love to see it happen. I'm not sure if we're in a position to take any action on this right now or not. Is it something that we can ask the administration to look at and see if we can put that into the budget? I mean, I'm not sure that we could sit right here right now and say, yeah, you can have 200,000.
You can certainly ask me. I'm not sure. Given some of the issues we talked about during the workshop, where we are financially with the 2013 budget, some of the issues that are really unknown at this point for 13 as well as for 14, I would be very, very reluctant to say, let's commit $200,000 additional funds to this project for this year as well as for next year. I don't think we're at a point with understanding the full implications of what 14 is going to bring to us to be able to give you a recommendation. Yes, write them another 200,000. I can't do that at this point.
Any 36.
Yeah, I sat in that meeting, and if I'm not mistaken, you don't need an answer in 2 weeks. You can potentially get it after we get information from Grant and get a better understanding of where the county stands. That's what you're making.
Yeah, and I wanted him to come in here. It's not to take you to the woodshed tonight. It's to make us aware of you know, where you're at and what you want to do. And so when we start talking about some of our other stuff, we can kind of say, okay, we'd like to do that. We can plan for that.
Right. I just wanted to put it out there that
yeah.
In order to give these people some relief, because we have some serious flooding out there, and I can show you the pictures and give you the copies of the complaints of people calling in that are flooding. And these are drains that have been on the books. Stocks Creek has been there since like 1998, and it's literally flowing into their basements. And Holland Drain's been an issue for probably 12 years, and it's just one after another, and these residents of the county really do need some sort of help with their storm drain.
Commissioner Riley.
Well, I just want to emphasize, Bob, I think you're doing a heck of a job, and I really mean that. I think since you've been in there, we've seen a tremendous difference, and I've looked through Portland Township and in that particular area. I mean, and some of the drains in there, I don't think people realize they had a drain.
Right.
I mean, it was that bad. And I mean, you've done a great job, and I can see it. I'm just that reluctancy right now because of where we are in some of these titles. But otherwise, I'd be more than happy to support it, but I can't at this time.
Any other comments or questions? You know, one of the problems of being around here for a long time, I remember when Drain Commissioner Fuller was here before us asking for an increase in the county portion. At that time, it was $150,000, and we said no.
Yes, we did.
And we did give Drain Commissioner Riley $500,000 to work with. Having money to provide these services does make a world of difference. And now he's here asking for another $200,000. And I know he would do a great job of making sure that money was spent wisely. I'm just curious, is Stocks Creek the one that's down in Kimball Township in Commissioner Riley's area?
Yeah, I'd love to take him on
because
a tour.
No, I got an earful about that the other night, and the comment was, though, apparently the road commission put in some larger drain culverts, and he said that has made a world of difference in flooding, but he's still very concerned that Stocks Creek needs to be, or drain needs to be cleared to ensure that flooding doesn't occur.
Right. The flooding, regardless, floods over by the school. The larger tubes were up on Fish Road, which that area.
He's out on Fish Road.
Yeah. This one, it's all by the school. The schoolyard floods completely. The house is over in Castlewood. Actually, I just talked to a resident in Castlewood that we had to go pull some humps out in the drain just to hopefully get it to flow if it does rain. And the guy, I could let you listen to his voicemail, he was ecstatic. But his basement had 3 foot of storm water in the bottom of it, or it filled it up that much. But it happens, you know, anything you can do would be appreciated, not by me, but by the residents of the county. And that does not include a raise for me in there, so it has nothing to do with me, it's just working on the drains.
And we're going to talk to you about that. Commissioner Thomas.
So you also, Bob, assess MDOT for those?
Yes. If there's a state highway through there, we assess them. We don't assess the schools. Railroads will assess them. Who else do we get?
That's it, the county and township at large, the residents, and MDOT and railroads.
Why, you know, I'm more familiar with doing special assessments in cities, so I'm not really familiar with the drain process. Why wouldn't it be a road commission expense instead of a county general fund expense?
Well, that's how it's been done. We assess the county, and the county pays for basically the road improvements, or the drainage for the roads. I guess that's between you guys, the road commission.
But you know what, the state general fund doesn't pay for the state highways. It's the road authority that pays for the highways. I mean, if we're being assessed for our public buildings, if we're being assessed for our public buildings, then that would be, you know, their general fund assets. But
right.
if the roads are part of the road commission, why wouldn't it be a road commission expense, I guess is my question.
Go ahead.
There's a component of the county at large that it's not a straight calculation like it is with MDOT. MDOT by law is a straight impervious area of the road and the right-of-way. There's a benefit to the county at large that comes into play. And I'm not saying that the road commission shouldn't be assessed for at least part of it, but that's, you know, typically not how it's done. But there is, for the health, welfare, and safety of the county at large, there's a component to that.
Well, how is that calculated though?
Acreage. The county and the township is a little more subjective. There's not a straight detailed calculation that you can do to arrive at a dollar figure. So it's the drain code says that the apportionment of the cost will be based on benefit, and it's the discretion of the drain commissioner to determine how that benefit is spread, or who in the drainage district, the area that whose water drains to it, as well as the at-larges, who gets that benefit and what percentage of the cost should be theirs.
I'm still not understanding.
Carl, what I would really suggest, I'm not trying to cut you off, but sit down maybe and spend a half an hour with them and just go through the whole thing from A to Z.
Well, I understood when Bob first said it was based on the impervious area and everything. I got that. I've been involved with stormwater assessments within cities, and that's what it's based upon. But this benefit to the general public, in what part of the general? I just don't understand.
Have them take you through one drain project, and they'll explain like a particular project and all the costs and breakdowns and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that.
Yeah,
it's an eye opener.
Yeah, we'd love some input if you have any ideas.
No, I'm just, I'm sure you, no, I didn't know it was going to be a very, I actually assumed it was, just as you explained it, Bob, it was an impervious area calculation, and that's absolutely fair, and there's no way anybody could ask any question about that.
That's pretty much the gist of it. You know, you take a look at the impervious surface, and you know, that's 100% runoff, and so it goes by acreage, and that's a really good start when you start figuring out the apportionments, and you take it from there, and you look at a million different ways that how it's going to be divided up between the county, the townships at large, and the residents. So
I can maybe
go ahead.
Addressing it real quickly. The road commission gets funding to maintain the roads. They have no funding to pay for drainage that's off the roads. The road is under their jurisdiction, the drains aren't. So the bottom line is, in terms of a funding source to pay for the benefit to county roads, the only place to come is here, because there's nowhere else to get the money.
That's where MDOT gets their money too. I mean, it's...
Well, MDOT pays for their share. The state has to pay for their share.
But they take it from the same source that the road commission gets their money from.
No, they don't. No, they don't. I mean, we don't know where the state comes up with theirs. But we as an entity, you have the county, and a subdivision of the county is its road commission. The road commission gets funding to maintain the roads. There's no extra money in the road commission to pay for the
Well, I
drainage
understand
system.
that, but MDOT gets their money from Act 51. We get our money for the road commission from Act 51. It's the same source of money.
No, it isn't.
It's a gas and weight tax and
The road
registration
commission,
fees.
the road commission gets Act 51 money. They get money from this board. They get money from grant sources. They get money from the federal government. They get money from a lot of sources, but there is no source to pay for drainage assessments. They don't have it. So, and historically they never had, because all the money they get is spent for road maintenance. So the bottom line is they either come here or they go nowhere. And that's why it's been done this way for since decades.
Okay, let's not get off the subject. I mean, if we want to do a workshop or something, something that we get educated on this point.
I'm perfectly willing to, you know, have those conversations
As
later.
chair, if I could, I think if I judge the flavor of the board, it's that, you know, we appreciate your report, but at this time, I don't think any of us want to act on your request. So I
check back at a later date.
Yeah, Commissioner Rushing, go ahead.
Yeah, I believe you're probably looking at a 4-month window bare minimum to where we have to
Yeah.
give you an absolute.
Yeah.
But also, when we were talking about the budget earlier, we got to think about what are we doing for the residents of this county, and what is a service that we can provide that's going to provide a lot of good. Now, whether he gets 200,000 or not, maybe it'll be a portion of that or something, but it's a service that benefits this county. And that's what we're going to be looking at when we do the budget.
Okay, I guess with that, I'm going to thank Drain
thank you.
Commissioner Wiley and Deputy Drain Commissioner Hartson. Thank you very much for your
Thank
information.
You. Thanks, guys.
At this time, the 2014 Coastal Management Program grant application. David?
Good evening. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Planning Commission to request authorization from the board to apply for 2014 coastal management funding. What we are looking at doing is partnering with the counties to the north and the thumb, along with a few other entities such as the Tip of the Thumb Heritage Water Trail System, to develop a regional trail towns program. And for some of you, this may be familiar because we did apply for this grant last year for the similar type of project, except it was for only St. Clair County. And as you know, those funds are sort of dwindling, and regionalism is sort of the name of the game when it comes to grant funding these days. So we believe that with this partnership with these other counties, which would include Huron, Sanilac, Tuscola County, that we'll have a stronger application. We've also been communicating with the Convention and Visitors Bureau because we want to really focus on the Discover the Blue communities along the shoreline. And really what this Trail Towns program is to build off of the momentum of the Blue Ways program that we started 2 years ago. If you're familiar with the Blue Ways of St. Clair, we established a system of about 16 water trails throughout the county. And it really kind of put us in the forefront in terms of water trails statewide. In fact, Michigan Sea Grant and the DEQ right now are working with some other partners to try to emulate what we did for the entire coastline of Lake Michigan. So we sort of had a leg up in terms of that, and now others are catching up. And now Trail Towns is really sort of the next wave that both DEQ, DNR are turning their attention to. So we feel this will kind of help us get another leg up and really be able to tie recreation and you know, one of our biggest assets is the waterfront to economic development and downtown development. And really what the Trail Towns program will do is help not only downtowns and local units of government improve sort of the environment for capturing trail users, but also local business owners who are in those central business districts to get, you know, strategic actions that they can take to pull those users off of the trails, both bike trails and water trails. And really to date, there hasn't been a lot of good metrics in terms of who's using our trails, how many people are using our trails, you know, what do they spend money on when they are out there using our trails. And so part of this project will be doing some field work and doing some surveying of people throughout the summer to get some of that information, and knowing what it is they like to spend money on and sort of the needs that they have while they're out there. That's something that can help DDAs and business owners as they go forward. So that's sort of the overview of what the project is. On the memo that I gave you, there's a cost breakdown, and we never like to come with sort of an incomplete budget, but given the nature of this project with having so many partners involved and having to get those approvals taken care of, those are still pending. We're actually working with the Huron Economic Development Corporation right now to make sure all the other counties are going to be on board and what their level of commitment are going to be. So at this point, given your meeting schedule and the fact that this grant application is due on March 29th, we just wanted to get it into the pipeline for your committee meeting here. And at your full board meeting, we'll come back with concrete numbers. Within 2 weeks, we'll know which counties are completely committed and what the breakdown is going to be in terms of in-kind match and cash match. At this point, we're looking at about a $55,000 grant request from Coastal Management, and we do have to match that. And that can be, as I said, in-kind services as well as cash. But that could change depending on what the final partnership looks like and ultimately what our final scope of work looks like as well. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Director Strzok?
David, you said that we have to match up to $55,000. It could be in kind, it could be cash, a variety of ways.
Right.
Is that set somewhere? Do you have it in your budget, or is it out there?
Yeah, as far as our county match, we're proposing a $5,000 cash match from all of the counties that would be involved. And then from the Metropolitan Planning Commission staff time, we're proposing about $20,000 in in-kind services, because when you look at the Discover the Blue communities, we've got 5 of them here in St. Clair County. So we would integrate that into the normal work program of staff, being out in the field, doing some, map work with GIS.
Okay.
And then some of the other entities like the Tip of the Thumb Water Trails and Discover the Blue, some of their work will be in-kind services. There's going to be marketing involved with this. And also, one of the other partners is the Land Information Access Association, which is LEA. They're actually a nonprofit firm up in Traverse City. We've worked with them for over 10 years. In fact, they're the entity behind the CIS website that we have. And we've worked with them on previous coastal management programs as well. They frequently provide in-kind services as well here in our county. And the match that they're proposing right now is at the very least going to be in-kind services. They very well could have some cash match to provide to that as well.
Any other questions? Thank you. Good job, Director.
We have a motion yet to send this to full board?
I think we need a motion.
I'll move.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Rush and supported by Commissioner Bowen. Any other? Oh, Commissioner Greatop. I'm sorry.
Good job, Jeff.
The second was Commissioner Greatop. I apologize for that.
We look alike, don't we?
Yes.
In the paper.
Anyway, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nays. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. The Smiths Creek landfill activities report. Any comments or questions on that?
Mr. Chairman, is this something we send on to the full board, or is this something we typically receive?
This is just information only, basically, as to what it is.
Motion to receive and file with appropriate.
That would be most appropriate.
Also move.
We have a second.
Support.
Second by Commissioner Riley. Any discussion questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you.
Commissioner Edelman, I passed along just a paper that I picked up when I was gone last week and the week before, showing, and I think this says a lot about, to me, this one's happens to be in Honolulu, EPA sues over landfill gases, and there's a little story in there. But to me, when I read that, I copied it because I said, I think it tells a story of how well this board, not present board, because some of us weren't here, and the landfill people have done toward this total landfill project. I think it says a heck of a lot. My wife and I last year in October was in Hilton Head, and during that time I got a paper, USA paper, one morning came and there was a big article about St. Clair County landfill, and one of a special one in the nation. And I thought, you know, here's St. Clair County up here, we're leading the pack. And I think this is it's just another article that I thought that I had to bring back and just tell you the previous board as well as the landfill people that are working out there doing a great job, and there was some real thought put into this program.
Okay, thank you for that information. At this time, I would, there's information only.
Make the motion to receive and file items A through D and information only.
All in favor? Second by Commissioner Samasco. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I would entertain a motion at this time to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Support. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
This time I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Ways and Means Committee to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Samasco?
Here.
Commissioner Tamian?
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Here.
Commissioner Bohm?
Here.
Commissioner Riley?
Here.
Commissioner Graytop?
Here.
Commissioner Rushing?
Here. Okay, item number 2, additions, deletions, and changes to the agenda.
Actually, we have one change that we're going to be making. We've got to add a closed session just for a legal review here, so I'd like to do that at the very end. Adjourn right after the fact, so.
Okay.
Is that in form of a motion?
Yes.
Second.
I would second it.
Okay. Any other additions or deletions? Not, could I, all in favor?
I would, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I move the approval of the agenda as amended.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. This time, do we have any citizens to be heard? Seeing none, we'll move up to 4, updates. Did we have some updates? Any other updates?
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner Rushing. I just want to, normally I provide you with an update on the convention center at the full board meetings, but there's some things that are going to be happening fairly soon that I want to make sure all of you are aware of, and that those who are maybe watching this will be aware of as well. We're getting fairly close to bidding out some of the work related to site work. That would include utilities, parking lots, driveways, site work, and lighting, a landscaping contract, and then there's some actual building improvement work that will be bid out very shortly. This will be an open bid process, as the board has indicated in the past. There will be no pre-qualification necessary. The RFPs will be posted on Mitten, which is the same program that the county uses for most all of its contracts and bidding efforts. We will be working with local media as well to make sure that they're aware of projects. And there is a section that the IT department has set up on the county's website where there will be information posted as well. Some of the information that contractors will find there is exactly how to access the Mitten site. When a notice is posted, it'll be posted there as well. So I would just urge anyone who is interested in working on any of these types of projects to keep their eyes open. If you don't have access to Mitten yet, please do so. We are having a tough time getting local contractors. One of the things that we have discovered is over the last couple of years, the economy has been pretty bad, and many of our building trades people have left the county and actually left the state for greener pastures. As a result, it's very difficult to find local contractors now to do some of this work. We've got a list of about 15 contractors that have expressed an interest in some of the site work out there already, and that would be underground work primarily. And of those 15, only 8 of them are county contractors. Some names I'm sure you will recognize, people that have very, very high qualifications. But it is getting difficult to find local tradespeople to work on some of these projects. So if anyone out there is interested, please access some of these resources and keep an eye out for the work that will be posted.
Just, I have a question. Will we be working in conjunction with the Hilton Hotel in developing some of those meeting rooms that when we were in there they were gutted out, to bring those in line and have them online when the hotel opens up sometime this summer? Particularly, I'm thinking for like wedding receptions and the like, because I've been getting requests, you know, from people that can we have a wedding reception there?
Sure. It's my understanding Hilton is taking reservations for things like that for wedding receptions. You have to remember they have the Abbey, which will remain and maybe redecorated. That area will be used for reception and is available. The county also will own and operate the ballroom that's there currently. That has been gutted, will be renovated, and we will be working with Hilton. That'll all be done as one package, so it will be done at the same time. And when Hilton is ready to open, the ballroom will be ready to open as well.
Okay, excellent.
Well, go ahead.
You add, I'm just going to make a comment on something.
I have a question in regards to what we're going to have at our full board, the $15,000 that we're looking to waive for the city of Port Huron. The permits, is that for $54,000? That just cover the convention, or are we also, city of Port Huron also going to waive it for the contractor?
That's just
the Hilton and also the Baker College. Or that just $54,000 just for
St. Clair County? Because
indirectly, aren't we going to be for the contractor? Will that be some of our soft cost that we have to cover? While you were talking, I thought I'd ask.
Just since we're talking convention center stuff, we've got our state of the state address coming up here. I have actually AT&T is going to be at that, along with their government affairs folks, along with their techie folks, to bring them in, and we're going to talk about the convention center project. I know there was Steve, you had actually, had lots of, I don't want to say concerns, but what's the latest and greatest, everybody, state of the art. I'm not a techie guy, so what I will do is grab a couple other commissioners that will be part of that meeting with AT&T, kind of get an understanding, I guess, on what
Where's
types
that
of
meeting
things.
taking place, Joe?
We're going to come back here. It's after the state of the county.
On the 15th?
Friday.
2 o'clock kind of stuff. Right after that, we're going to come back up here and then sit down and just start that whole conversation once out there, because things that I've heard, when people go to these conventions and the Wi-Fi stinks, you can't get on. I mean, just
there are actually promulgated standards that you can punch out.
So just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, do we have any other updates? Okay, we'll move on to conceptual initiatives. Do we have any? If not, move on to old business. Seeing none, we'll move on to new business, 7A. Let's see, we have you here, if you want to give us a rundown or not.
Good evening, gentlemen. We're looking to waive a hiring freeze for a nurse position, and the reason being we have an HIV case management nurse who is retiring as of May 18th. That position is 100% grant funded through the Ryan White Fund. So we've selected an internal nurse to fill that position, which leaves her position open in the maternal infant health care program. And that program right now is currently funded 2/3 by grant and 1/3 by billing for services. So if that position is left vacant for any length of time, we lose all that billing for services, and we do lose on funding at that point. So we're looking for approval to hire that position right away.
Oh, if you would hold up. First, I'll need a motion.
And
this will be for final action.
Yeah, I would so move that the health department request for exemption to the hiring freeze for a public health nurse be considered for final action.
I support that.
Okay, any discussions? I know I got a couple things myself. Any discussions? I met with them today, and this is also good part of this is the billing cycle. This actually generates money, right?
Correct.
So this is an important position, so if we don't fill it, we will not get some potential billing if we do not.
And we bill for about $200,000 a year through that program. So when we lose caseload, we lose ability to bill for insurance companies and Medicaid for that funding.
Did you say 100,000, is that what you said?
Oh, no, around 200,000
Oh, 200,000, okay.
a year.
Okay, can I have a roll call vote, please? Or do we need that on this one? We need a roll call, or?
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Bohm?
Yes.
Commissioner Riley?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, we'll move on to 7B.
Good evening. I'm requesting the approval of a purchase for a software upgrade for the Teleworks system. Teleworks is a software program that we use to send out notifications via email or phone calls. And our original system was purchased in 2002. Since that time, we've really done no upgrades. So the server is probably one of the oldest servers we have on our network, and it's just due for replacement and upgrade. The new system will be much more user-friendly, much more streamlined. With the new software, we will have the ability to virtualize our server, which gives us the ability to have more disaster recovery and all those types of things that go with virtualization. And I have set aside the funding for this upgrade in my existing public improvement funding, so I'm not asking for any additional funds.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we send it on to the full board.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Do we have at this time any other Ways and Means matters? Seeing none, information only.
Make a motion to receive and file the packet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Can I have a motion
I would
to,
make a motion that we adjourn to closed session and thereafter adjourn the full meeting.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
We hope you enjoyed this week's St. Clair County Board of Commissioners meeting. Your St. Clair County Commissioners broadcast these meetings on Comcast Local Access Channel 12 every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. If you have any questions on any part of this program, please feel free to contact your St. Clair County Board of Commissioners or staff. You can find their contact information, the meeting agenda, and videos of the meetings at www.stclaircounty.org.